All right, everyone, if you're watching this, welcome to another language learning video. And today I am with Mikail from the United Kingdom. Did I say that right? I'm sorry.
Perfect. Perfect.
Mikail.
Spot on. You've got
Okay,
it, Mikhail.
I'm forgetting. I'm forgetting. Now I do want to do this. I have intentionally not looked you up on social media or stalked you on social media for the specific reason is because I want to, by the end of our conversation, I want to take a stab at where you are located in the United Kingdom. I am a bit of an Anglophile,
Okay.
and I fancy myself as at least being more familiar than the average American, let's say, than with regional accents and all of that. So I'm going to take a stab at it. So don't tell me. And I've not looked you up, so that we can say that for a later time, but I have a couple of suspicions, and I'm going to give myself three guesses before I before I
Go
make you
for it.
tell me. um, Tell me about how you, and I think it's fair to say, based on our YouTube channels, that we are fellow language enthusiasts,
Yeah,
language lovers,
absolutely.
and so tell me about how that journey began for you, and how you got to this point today.
So I think throughout my childhood and teenagerhood, there was always a slight kind of feeling of deficiency growing up with one language when quite a lot actually of my friends and family could speak more than one. Like my mother's native tongue is English and Urdu, so a completely different language. But I completely grew up monolingual. Um, I did get a French qualification during school up until the age of 16, but I mean, you could talk about this topic for a long time, but it really
Of
did not
course,
equate to
of course.
learning French in any meaningful way. It was really just a case of passing the grade. So I was monolingual up until late 20s, sort of 28, 29. And I don't think there was one kind of revelation that got me into doing languages. I think I thought, well, I'll follow up on French because France is a nearby country. So I looked into where I could get some French classes. The place currently wasn't offering any, so just on the spur of the moment, I took some Spanish classes instead. And I wasn't even particularly consistent with those either. And it was very much a kind of traditional rote learning, lots of explanations in English, grammatical
Yep.
explanations, very little of the stuff that we know causes language acquisition. And so I kind of left that trailing as well. But then when my wife insisted that we go on holiday to Italy, I decided to try to learn some Italian, and did so to a sort of limited extent, at least enough to show me that it was possible to learn a language as an adult. Because of
Hmm.
course, as I'm sure you know, there's a kind of toxic myth going around
Yep.
that there's this kind of window of time that you lose it.
Yep.
So I think from the age of about 20, 29, I just thought I would like to learn some more languages and learn languages well. And I would say it only really picked up in the first COVID lockdown, where I learned to speak Spanish. I will not say fluently, but conversationally, in that I can talk about more things. And now I've started to branch into a couple of other languages
Sure.
also.
Sure. That's the yeah, and I think not only I, but I think most of the students in the United States can empathize with the feeling of frustration, because honestly, it's the methods that we have in school that confirm it. They confirm the myth,
Yeah.
honestly, and it's just it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Um, Now, and one thing for me is I didn't learn about this until I began learning languages, but I think from what I gather, it's more common in Europe. But the A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, T. So is that used in Europe? Is that used for, like, for example, resumes and job interviews and things like, I'm a B2 in German or something along those lines? Is that commonplace in Europe?
Well, I mean, learning another language is not commonplace in Britain at least, and therefore the process of putting
Sure,
A1 or whatever
sure.
obviously isn't. I mean, the truth is, I've only heard of this convention since maybe a year or so, But it is, I think if you ask most Europeans, they will be familiar with it, yes.
Sure. Okay.
Most Brits won't be, just because they don't know another language, but it would be a valid thing to put in your CV, and it would be recognised, yes.